I thought we'd talk about The Tick Season 2 that came up on Amazon Prime last week. Following on from the first series last year, this has Peter Serafinowicz as the Tick and another chap whose name escapes me, I'll put it up at the bottom, as Arthur, his sidekick, who wears a Mothman suit and doesn't really have any powers or abilities other than being a very good accountant, and as you find out in the series, good at filling out paperwork. This is way better than the first series. I thought the first series took a lot of time to get going and get to where it wanted to be. This seems to hit the ground running, and it's quite clear that whoever wrote it or directed it has learned from issues that there were in the first series, and this is much better. First of all, they addressed the costume, which looked a bit clunky in the first series. Now he's got a more streamlined sort of one piece with a bit of sort of textured pattern on it, and it just looks much better. They sort of deal with it in an offhand way, showing that all his scales have fallen off, and just go, meh, that's happened. And you think, well, that's the way it should be dealt with, and it just, you know, doesn't get too deep into it. The characters in the world are better developed, they're more fleshed out. In particular, Dot and Overkill, Dot being Arthur's sister, and Overkill being a sort of Punisher / Batman like vigilante who's out in the world fighting crime, and he's got his own agenda, trying to find a bad guy called the Duke, who, well, there's a sort of thing that he thought he killed him but he didn't, and he set up Overkill as a sort of patsy for it. And also they introduced the agency Aegis, or Aegis as they pronounce it, who are sort of government-funded superhero crime-fighting agency. And you've got characters sort of, what is he? Tyrannosaurus Rex is the commander of that, and he's sort of a cross between John Wayne and the $6 Million Man. Steve Austin. You'll get it if you see it. It's all in the way the character looks and behaves. In particular though, Dot, the sister of Arthur, her character gets really, really fleshed out, and I was enjoying watching her story the most out of everyone. She almost gets equal screen time to the Tick and Arthur, to be honest, throughout the series, and her character really is brought along, and you really start to like feel for her and her partnership with Overkill. That they sort of do a will they won't they thing through it, but it turns into a will they. By the end of it, they just don't quite kiss, which is a bit of a shame. They said they had the dance party in their heads. You watch the show and you'll understand. But I hope there is a third series that comes out. It will be fun and really enjoyable to watch. Of the bad points are there's a lack of integration of the Superion character, who's essentially a parody of Superman, a bit like Hyperion is in the Marvel universe. He's essentially taken the mick out of Henry Cavill's Man of Steel film and the way Superman's addressed in that, and also the latter Superman movies of Superman 3 and Superman 4, just with some of the things he does and the way he behaves. There is something at the very end with aliens turning up to collect him because he's some sort of escapee. Whether that will be touched on in later series, I don't know, but the character just felt like less than a side story. He was sort of there, and whether they're setting something up for future series, that may well be the case, but in this series it just felt like sort of a distraction or a wasted time. Almost like in when you read comic books like the Dark Knight Returns and that, you've got the little news reporter segments in them that cut away to like commentaries. It almost feels like that. It's just something on the side, almost like a palette cleanser between scenes. But that was really one of the only main negatives with it. Miss Lint is still there, and her character develops really well as well. She's starting to get a conscience, which is fun, as she starts to enjoy being a superhero for most of the series, even though she's got a nefarious plan on the back burner. Definitely worth watching. Only a half hour long each episode, so it's easily digestible, easily watchable, and if you've got a sort of a slow afternoon and you want to watch a couple of episodes, definitely worth digging into.